Hi, my name is Douglas Day. I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to be here today with you. And I just want to talk about a very tough topic. I want to talk about abortion today. So the issues with abortion are not just here in the United States. The issues of abortion spread all around the world, with so many people being touched by this issue. According to the CDC and the National Right to Live, since 1973, when Roe versus Wade was passed, in the United States alone, 60,069,971 legal abortions have been performed here in the United States. And that does not account for all the illegal abortions here and also all abortions all across the globe. We have on our hands an epidemic and a genocide that is not just affecting the children's right to live, but it is also causing major health concerns for the moms involved. It is just not a viable solution to allow mothers to choose to abort their child. There are so many issues that revolve around the pro-choice movement, and this is why I want to implore you to join the pro-life movement. There's a couple reasons I'm going to hit on today. First, I'm going to look at the great moral issue of aborting a child. I'm also going to look at the harmful effects that are seen in the mothers. Then we're also going to talk about negative society trends. And finally, we're just going to look at how our Creator God has commanded us to be someone who loves everybody, someone who shows love, and by being that show of force of love to people around the globe, we can hopefully put an end to this genocide. So the first issue I want to look at is the moral issue of abortion. And before we get into that, we need to talk about, when does life begin? We need to get down to that scientific definition of when life begins. According to the International Journal of Orthodox Theology, human life begins at conception. This is an issue that a lot of people debate all throughout the globe, as when does life actually begin? A lot of thoughts among legislators, including yourselves, is that there's no life until birth. There's no life until the baby comes out. Some others take the stand of being 30 weeks into the pregnancy, maybe being 35 weeks into the pregnancy, right in that last month. That's another place where we see a lot of people standing on this issue of when does life begin. And there's the final movement, which I support completely, is the at conception. When the baby is conceived, that is when we first see life. According to the Journal of International Women's Studies, they also take this stance of it beginning at conception, and they say that that is scientifically proven, that cells are beginning to show life at that time when conception begins, and that is where we begin to see the first developments of a child. So now that we've established when life begins according to scientists, theologists, psychologists, all different types of walks, let's now look at establishing that abortion is wrong. Abortion is murder. Let's just be straight up. Abortion is murder. And murder is defined according to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary as the crime of unlawfully killing a person with malice. So you sitting here in this as being pro-choice supporters probably will tell me that in the pro-choice movement, that abortion is legal. Yes, abortion is legal, but that is an issue that we need to look at. So the pro-choice movement, such as yourselves, make the point that since it is legal, it is not murder, which I disagree with you on that topic, because the only lawful murder that is committed is either through the justice system after someone's been convicted of a crime or receiving that punishment, and in war. That is the only time. So that is why I come to you today and say you need to realize that abortion is murder. The second reason I want to look at today is just the effects abortion has on the mom. The largest side effects related to abortions are stress and depression. A BMC Women's Health study recently put out talks about stress from pregnancy and abortion, and it relates that larger levels are seen in abortion patients. There is a lot of stress that comes from pregnancy, but we see a larger level of stress come from that abortion, and we also see symptoms linger longer. With these women who get an abortion, there's a lot more stress that lingers, and that can fall into types of depression. So I just want to let you know about that today. that depression is a major issue. The other thing to look at is the physical damage that the abortion has on a woman. The American Pregnancy Association says it has damage to the organs. It can cause sepsis, infections, and even result in death. An international study on abortions talks about a growth and more likelihood of getting breast cancer following an abortion. A study in China talked about how 8.2 million women in China have gotten an abortion since 1983. And of those 8.3 million documented abortions in which we've seen a child aborted, 30% of these women went on to get breast cancer. There's a physical thing that occurs with the cells in the body that relate to breast cancer and actually cause that to happen because of the issues seen from having that abortion. My third reason that I want to talk to you today about for why to join the pro-life movement is the society effects. Nations around the globe suffer from society being torn down by abortion and by people following the abortion. We see in a lot of nations around the world, same-sex marriage is on the increase in these countries where abortions are so prevalent. We just see an overall unruly and unjust nature of individuals. We see people really struggling with crimes and such things. The nation of Azerbaijan had a study done in their country. They were willing to have this study done, and it looked at women, and the women are just degraded in this country. Women have very few rights. The education rate of these women is so low. They have no chance of ever getting a viable job, and it is a very high mortality rate. We see a lot of medical issues with these women once they have the abortion. We see how they don't know what to do following the abortion, and they really struggle to really have a healthy lifestyle after that. And just the conditions of the abortion are also not done in very sanitary environments, and that causes issues as well. Also, I've read an economic inquiry article, and it talks about abortion and women and how they suffer from great poverty. The society effects just continue even here in the United States. Women who have an abortion are more likely to be in poverty. The fathers of those who have been aborted fall into patterns of crime, drugs, violence, and many are asked why they turn to these issues, and a lot of them stem it back to when that abortion occurred, when that abortion started. From that point forward, they went down that line of not being able to be productive citizens. And an interesting statistic also from that economic inquiry study talks about how in 1981, every 1,000 babies that were born, 60 were deemed unwanted. By 1999, that number was up to 130 out of every 1,000 babies were unwanted and aborted here in the United States. The final reason for you to join the pro-life movement is God commands us to love. God is our creator, and he created man in his own image. In Genesis 1:27, it says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him." He created male and female. He created Adam and Eve. He created all of us, and he created us in his image. That is why we need to honor him through the pro-life movement. God also knit us together in our mother's womb. Psalm 139:13 says, "For you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb." Life begins at conception, and this is just another reference pointing back to that. Finally, we need to be protectors of life. Genesis 9:5 says, "Surely for your lifeblood I will demand a reckoning." This is when he's talking to Noah, following Noah coming off the ark. He talks about how man needs to be accountable for that life that is taken. And in my last point, I just want to talk about how God is love. 1 John 4:8 says, "He who does not love does not know God, for God is love." I implore you to realize the effects that abortion has on every level of society. The murder of unborn babies, the physical and mental shaming of women, family and society breaking down. We must show love to these individuals. That is why I implore you to join the pro-life movement and begin to help to restore families, restore society, and restore mothers back to having that greatest gift that is a child. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, you can come up to me and talk to me after the presentation. I just appreciate your time. I hope that you have a great day. Thank you.